आधी कळस मग पाया रे असं अजिंठ्याचं स्वरूप. त्यावरील या पुस्तकाच्या बाबतीतही असंच काहीसं म्हणता येईल का? नक्की काय आहे या पुस्तकामागची प्रेरणा? त्याविषयी आपण कुलकर्णी काकांकडूनच जाणून घेऊया. तत्पूर्वी अगदी थोडक्यात त्यांचा परिचय. आपल्याला सगळ्यांना ते परिचित आहेतच. ही इज ॲन आर्किटेक्ट बाय प्रोफेशन. ही स्टडीड मास्टर्स इन इंडॉलॉजी फ्रॉम टिळक महाराष्ट्र विद्यापीठ during 2010 to 2012. Because of his professional and educational background, perhaps, and because he was not convinced by the earlier evidences regarding Ajanta, he began studying it, especially from an architect's point of view. So may I now request Shri Kulkarni to say a few words about the book and express his feelings on this occasion.
नमस्कार. मला आत्ताच सांगितलं आहे की फ्यू वर्ड्स कमी बोला असं सांगितलेलं आहे, तर मी खरंच कमी बोलणार आहे. आणि बोलताना लूज टॉक नको म्हणून मी ते वाचणार आहे. गुड इव्हनिंग. My warm welcome to Dr. G.B. Deglorkar sir, Dr. Pramod Joglekar sir, Dr. Sri Nanda Bapat, dignitaries and friends. We have just heard a poem introducing the subject of the day. Many of us must have visited Ajanta caves and marveled at their beautiful setting, countless sculptures, innumerable inscriptions, or the magnificent paintings, all of which are star attractions. Our appreciation has no limits and bounds to describe all that. But the cutting of caves from solid rock with hard human labor easily goes unnoticed and often overlooked. Actually, if there were no caves, probably there would not have been any sculptures, inscriptions, and paintings. The very existence of all this wealth is dependent on the existence of these caves. Amongst the heterogeneous crowd of visitors, there are enthusiasts, casual visitors, scholars, each gazing at Ajanta with a different perspective as they move through the complex. Each different perspective casts light on a different facet. Many researchers have been engaged in study for a long time. In addition to their major scope of work, a few of the scholars have attempted to express their views on estimated time duration for rock cutting of the caves. In the James Ferguson's opinion, it took 150 years. In Jonah Williams' estimation, it took 250 years. As per short chronology of Walter Spink, Mahayana phase at Ajanta got finished within 14 to 17 years. Needless to say, his views are drastically different, needing additional scrutiny. I came across his few works and also had an opportunity to meet Spink in person. However, I was not convinced by his arguments. Considering the discussion during his interview, I felt that the topic of rock cutting of caves and estimated time thereof needed further investigations and subsequent revisions. I wanted to conduct inquiry independently on my own and scrutinize Ajanta from a different viewpoint, the viewpoint of an architect, a viewpoint of a civil engineer, far different than an art historian. When I discussed about this matter with a few people, I got an impression that I was unnecessarily wasting my time and energy. But when I discussed about this matter with Dr. Srinanda Bapat, he not only appreciated it but introduced me to Dr. Dhavalikar. Dr. Dhavalikar, on reading the matter, supported my idea and boosted my morale. My inquiry led to numbers of visits to Ajanta, making different observations. I experienced the lack of ventilation and dearth of sunlight while moving through caves, and also sensed the effects of changing path of sun during the day hours in different seasons. Based on these inputs, I studied labor constants in current use and suitably modified them. As, men, as many may know, labor constant is a measure of work carried out in a fixed duration of time. I studied habitability of space leakages within the caves. Side by side, I was reviewing Sping's disagreeable arguments and statements again and again. I quantified many elements like numbers of pillars, brackets, their types at Ajanta, and collected detailed data. Subsequently, I started condensing the data in the research papers. In a conference of Bruhan Maharashtra Prachyavidya Parishad, Dr. Tejas Garge, the director, Archaeology and Museums, Maharashtra State, suggested that a book may be composed with the data collected so far. Based on his suggestion and encouragement, the book written is now being published in your presence. In case of Ajanta, perceptible data was available in form of caves created by hewing out rock. My argument in this book are augmented with 165 or so text bound photographs, about 65 drawings, 25 charts, and a few sketches, both tools in use and postures of workforce in action. Since my viewpoint is architectural and engineering oriented, I have not gone into the details of dynasties, kings, ministers, and so on. For contemporary architects, this book will be interesting since they are more exposed to built architecture these days than to hewn out architectural spaces. The Indologists may begin to seriously consider the aspect of quantification and labor inputs before staging their arguments. Those who are already aware of this exercise may get confirmation. Those who are getting introduced freshly may orient their thinking suitably. At this moment, it's nice to see that some of the questions in Indological research can potentially be addressed using attributes of architectural and engineering discipline when deciding Indological matters. If I may mention, rather, now, if I may suggest that all the subject experts and subject lovers to read this book, it would be a really treat for them. I would like to gratefully acknowledge all those who are instrumental for making this book and the book release program successful. I am highly obliged to let architect V.B. Padhe Let Dr. M.K. Dhawlikar, Dr. G.B. Deklurkar, Dr. Pramod Joglekar, Dr. Srinand Bapat, and Dr. Manjari Bhalerao. I am deeply grateful to Dr. Tejas Garge for his timely help, advice, encouragement. My sincere thanks to structural designer Ravi Nene, civil engineer Srikant Phatak, geologist B.T. Bhalerao, Ajit Vartak, Dr. Hire for their patient hearing and timely advice. Also, I am thankful to architect Anand Lele, Shruti Joshi, Sharvila Patadia, and Dr. Ashutosh Misal for their inputs. My gifted artist friend Nihil Purohit and his companions need to be thanked for making certain artwork related issues easy. My friend Praveen Lad put in his best efforts since the initial stage of layouts. I am thankful to my friend Sushma Sonak who patiently checked the matter. Her silent persuasion helped me in improving my expression. My thanks are due to Narendra Umraskar and Amol Dhamale for their actual help at Ajanta Caves. Hemant Medhi entered on scene of this book at a very crucial stage as a troubleshooter. My sincere thanks to Hemant Medhi. I would like to thank Mandarogar of Vikram Printer for timely and precise printing. Sunil Doshi and Srikant Pradhan have witnessed this work since the stage of inception. They have been offering their valuable comments which were instrumental for shaping of this book. My sincere thanks to Sunil Doshi and Srikant Pradhan. In case in case I have forgotten the contribution of anybody in this book, I apologize. With these words, I would like to conclude my speech. मला थोडंच बोलायला सांगितलं होतं मी थोडंच बोललो आहे धन्यवाद